7 nearby Datsun dealers and learn how many ways Datsun saves. And by Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is determined to give you the best service you've ever had at a fast food restaurant.
And by Provident National Bank.
From the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, the National Lacrosse League and Channel 29 presents the Philadelphia Wings and the New York Tomahawks. Good evening, Gene Hart, along with Ralph Lawler, and joining us will be Larry Lloyd for this, the end of our regular season telecast list, as the Wings have their back up against the wall. Very simply, there are 2 games remaining in the season. The Wings here tonight against the Tomahawks, and the Boston Bolts at Maryland on Sunday. The Wings and the Bolts are tied for 4th place, each with 44 points. Quebec has 3rd place with 46, and Maryland in last with 42. If the Wings win tonight and Boston wins Sunday, the Wings are eliminated. If the Wings tie tonight and Boston ties Sunday, the Wings are eliminated. If the Wings lose tonight, they're automatically out of the playoffs. And to add a bit of note, if the Wings lose tonight and Maryland wins and beats the Bolts in Maryland on Sunday, Maryland will join Quebec, Montreal, and New York in the playoffs. It's that complex a situation. But Ralph, though the Wings have to win tonight, they also have to count on a Maryland win on Sunday, and they have to do it with a lot of injuries.
Really amazing, too, Gene. I think there were just 2 games remaining that any of the 6 teams in the National Lacrosse League still a shot at the playoffs, which certainly is a sign and good testimony to the balance that exists in the league. You lose some of that balance when you lose some players, and the Wings have lost at least 2 key members of their club for tonight's game. One, Jim Hickey, who has been plagued by injuries in his 2 years with the club, has problems now with his left foot, twisted an ankle in the game last week. And, of course, Larry Lloyd, who had the broken bone in his knee. That really has kind of been the beginning of the end of the season as far as the Philadelphia Wings are concerned. The fleet-footed, high-scoring Lloyd missed especially in the power play, but overall his offensive punch is sorely missed. And John Grant, who went goalless, and the Wings lost to Boston 18-17 a couple of nights back, is going to have to come up with a big effort and get some of the goals that perhaps Lloyd would have gotten without him.
An interesting note in tonight's game. It has no bearing on New York, that's already clinched 1st place in the National Lacrosse League. They have 30 wins and 17 losses, so it's a nothing game, the kind that you want to get everybody to play to keep in shape for the start of the playoffs next Tuesday or Wednesday, and to make sure no one gets hurt. But we believe, Ralph, there'll be an added motivation, as Morley Kells never likes the clubs to go out there uninspired. And I would think the obvious motivation would be this. Philadelphia has beaten you 6 out of 9 games, the only club to hold an edge over our Tomahawks. And if you beat them tonight, you'll not have to face them in the playoffs.
Yes, deep down in his heart of hearts, I'm sure there are clubs that Morley would prefer to play as opposed to this Philadelphia Wing team. Montreal, for example, they have beaten 9 times. The 10 times they have met this year. The Wings, the only team in the league to hold a series edge over the Tomahawks this year, 6 wins and 3 losses.
I wonder if we could move our camera over and get our guest color commentator tonight as we leave Ralph for a second, and that will be Larry Lloyd. And Larry, the knee operation, the prognosis.
Well, it looks very, very promising. It's just a matter of a little bit of rehabilitation, a little bit of hard work on my behalf to get it back in condition again.
You're not playing. Jim Hickey's not playing. Jim Lynch is out. Just what are the Wings going to have tonight to beat this Tomahawk club?
We're definitely going to have to have a lot of hard work. We're going to need some breaks, too, I believe. This Long Island club, they don't want us in the playoff. They've had trouble with us all year. And if we can't get a couple of breaks, well, we could be in trouble.
Is Wayne Platt the key?
I think he could be very, very much the key to this game.
All right. That's it. You've heard it from Larry Lloyd, Gene Hart with Ralph Lawler, and we'll have the opening draw, the most important game in the Wings' 2-year history, after these words.
Looking for economy and value in a car? Your Datsun dealer has 3 39-miles-per-gallon cars. The 1975 B210 hatchback, 2-door and 4-door sedan, loaded with standard equipment, built to last. 3 more ways Datsun saves.
See your nearby Datsun dealer. He's listed in the yellow pages.
1971, Jack in the Box restaurants wake up the fast food industry with the Breakfast Jack. 1972, the Jumbo Jack makes history. 1973, it's the Big Shake. 1974, the Jack Steak Sandwich makes its debut. 1975, the year of the Super Taco. Jack in the Box marches on. Watch out, McDonald's.
Good evening once again. This is Ralph Lawler along with Gene Hart as the Philadelphia Wings prepare to close the regular season portion of their 1975 National Lacrosse League season against the Long Island Tomahawks, and it should be a good one as we're having the starting lineups introduced down below right now. The Wings, in terms of motivation, Larry Lloyd, what's the mood of the guys? Are they hungry? Are they up for this one? Or did that real tough loss to Boston take something out of them?
I think they're see that it's a bit desperation situation, and they're just going to give it the last little bit that they seem to have. After 7 games lost, things are pretty bad, and it's going to need an all-out effort by everybody. So I hope that we get some early breaks so that the fellas can maybe get a little motivation right out of the game itself.
What do you think about the Long Island club? Are they going to be fired up, or are they going to think, well, it's all over, we don't need this win, it's not important to us? Are they going to lack motivation tonight, do you think?
No, definitely not. They've had trouble with us all year, as I've said, and just on that motivation to get us out of the playoffs is going to be enough for them, I believe.
Okay, real good. Larry Lloyd will be up here visiting with us and offering his expert color commentary throughout the course of this entire broadcast, and we're happy to have Larry with us, but obviously would much rather have him down in the box right now because the Wings could so badly use him. Awards being presented to the members of the Long Island Tomahawks down below, and a small but very vocal crowd on hand tonight to view this one. The Wings will sorely miss the presence of Jim Hickey, as we mentioned, on the opening draw. Bob Goulding will probably work in his stead because you must control the draw ball to get the ball to get it down into the opposing end. Wayne Platt will be opening in goal for the Philadelphia Wings this evening. Wayne, on the season, giving up 14.6 goals per game. Down at the other end of the box, we have standing in goal for the Long Island Tomahawks, Tim Berry, and Berry has been effective on the season, giving up about 14.5 goals per game. This is the 10th meeting of the year between the two clubs. The Winds have won 6 and dropped 3, but the Wings have not been tough on the road this year. That's their big problem. They have won only 6, and they have dropped 17 games. At home, the Tomahawks, very tough to beat indeed. They have won 16 of their 23 games, and the Tomahawks have also been tough to beat on the road. The only club in the league now with a winning record on the road. They have won 14 of 24. Now, here at the Nassau County Coliseum this year, the Wings have taken 3 of the 4 meetings between the two clubs and 3 of the 5 that were played in Philadelphia at the Spectrum. Terry Lloyd being introduced as a starter for the Philadelphia Wings, along with Jim Rickbeal, and they're getting a mixture chorus of boos and some cheers. And centering in place of Jim Hickey on this first line will be Bob Goulding, who certainly has his work cut out for him tonight. Ron Ryan now, as they are mixing up the line somewhat, comes out. Ron, who's kind of a hot and cold performer this year, and the young man who had such a spectacular night against Boston, that valiant comeback. The Wings stormed from 9 goals behind to take a 14-13 lead before falling finally 18-17 despite 9 points by little Jimmy Wasson, and what a spectacular night he had. And of course the 6th starter for the Wings in goal down to our left, Wayne Platt, the most valuable member of the Philadelphia Wings in 1974, and the winner of that award in 1975, as announced just a couple of nights ago in Philadelphia, was number 17, Terry Lloyd, the first member of the Wings to be introduced out there just a few moments ago. To repeat, once again, the Wings now dangerously close to elimination from the league playoffs with Quebec's 14-8 win over Boston last night. The Caribou move into sole possession of 3rd place, 2 points ahead of Philadelphia and Boston. Maryland also remained alive last night by defeating Montreal 13-11. If the Wings win tonight, the Arrows would be eliminated. If the Tomahawks defeat the Wings tonight, Philadelphia, the regular season champ in 1974, would be out of the playoffs. And if Maryland beats Boston on Sunday night, the Arrows, who seemed hopelessly out of the picture just a short time ago, would be the 4th place team. Maryland, Philadelphia, and Boston all would have 44 points, but the Arrows would have 1 more win than both teams. Pause now for our national anthem. you can see really the possibilities as far as the playoffs, even though we have only these two games remaining. This game tonight between the Philadelphia Wings and the Long Island Tomahawks, and a Sunday night game pitting the Maryland Arrows against the Boston Bolts. We still have virtually endless possibilities in the way things wind up. And we haven't even talked about what effect ties can have. In essence, the Wings have to do better in their game than Boston does in the game this coming Sunday night, is what it pretty much boils down to if you want to take Maryland out of it. But that's not really fair either. It's really confusing, and I'm sorry I brought the whole thing up. But now for first period play-by-play action, here's Gene Hart. Amazingly like what happened in the game last Thursday night. Terry Lloyd scoring in the opening seconds. Here it took him just 13 seconds to get in the first score of the game, and the Wings lead it by a 1-0 score. I'd like to see your brother start off like that. There he goes.
Terry Lloyd
cashes it in for the Philadelphia Wings, and Terry gets his 111th of the year. 1-0 Philadelphia.
Whitfield now leads off to John Grant.
There'll be no problem for the fans in Philadelphia to hear the organ. I'm sure you can hear it without benefit of television speaker this evening all the way across New Jersey and into Pennsylvania. I don't know if you can hear Gene or not. He's doing a good job.
There goes Goulding. Now we seem to be all right. Goulding on the right side. Cross side to Bauer. To Terry Rowland. Rowland shot. And Barry got a piece of it, but wasn't sure where the rebound was. Up to Brian Keegan. Keegan now along the near side. Holds with the rest of the team. That's Al Boosley. The ball as Philadelphia wants to run.
For your information, Al Luke Wayne is wearing number 9. For the Tomahawks, Luke Wayne, a change in your program. Luke Wayne is wearing number 9.
Right in on Tim Barry. And again, the Wings are going to have to cut down on any mishandling errors. There's a pass. There's Gordon here. He is in. And the rebound off to Glenn Ferguson.
Wayne is so tough in those closing shots, and now the Wings cough it up.
His head shot, partially deflected by a fine defensive play by 17 Keegan onto the stick of goaltender Barry. There's a quick pass up to Dave Wilfong. Wilfong with 92 goals. All right, up on the near side, we're going to make a mic switch. You understand you haven't been picking us up, and our good compatriot, Ralph Lawler, has made the switch with me. There's a hold in there against Henderson, none called. Here comes Doug Hayes up the middle, shot, deflected, rebound in front, lost by Todman, off to Rick Boucher. Boucher now carrying the ball. Picking him up is Wilfong, 23, so Boucher gets it up on the right side to Lipinski, number 9. Lipinski at the circle. That's a partial screen that breaks off from Boucher. Whacked out in there by Murdoch. Far side to Larry Ferguson. He's being worked over by Henderson. Cuts inside. Shot clock working its way down. There's a shot right in front by Grady. Rebound Lipinski. 2 fine saves by Tim Barry. As we're going to have a penalty coming up, a delayed call against Philadelphia, either Lipinski or Grady. And the Tomahawks have pulled their goaltender, and they have 6 forwards. There's Murdoch out there. Hayes with the ball. He's joined by Wolfong and also by Murdoch. There's a shot. That's wide. On the far side, trying to cover a Seacamp, and now we're going to get the call, and it's going to be a trip against Philadelphia. The game's first penalty at 3:57, and the Wings leading 1-0 with that lead now in jeopardy. Let's take a moment now to hear from Larry Lloyd. Lloyd, Larry, any trend of play so far in the first 4 minutes?
I think the ball is moving fairly well up the floor for the Wings. We've got one big save from Wayne Platt. That could really be important to get Wayne in the game early and also to get the team behind him. And if he can start moving the ball up to that head man on the fast break, we could surprise this Long Island team with that part of the attack tonight.
All right, taking the draw will be Poor Warden. And for Philadelphia, John Grant. It goes back to Gordonier, flips quickly back to Barry so they can bring out the offensive 5. Barry comes up to the neutral zone, plays off to Hayes. Hayes out there with Luthwaite, Wolfong, McGee, and Johnston. That's McGee, number 5. Grant and Sandy Lynch in front. McGee to Hayes. Hayes with a bullet. Save Platt. Rebound loose in front. They scramble for it. Collins doesn't get it. It rolls into the crease, and we're going to get a violation on Johnston. No, we're going to get it against Carm Collins, and it will be the Tomahawk ball. Jay Johnston now. As off goes Murdoch, and on comes far side is McGee. There's a scoop shot by Luthwaite. Very effective on that. The save is made. Luthwaite, number 9, his own rebound. Flip pass off to McGee, straight away to Hayes. Back to McGee. Shot, save by Platt. Hayes lost the rebound, and it's taken out by Carm Collins, who has 10 seconds to get into the 4 zone. Does. Chased by Luthwaite. Boom from behind. He was set up on that check, and McGee breaks out, and New York has a 3-on-2. There's Wolfong ahead of the pack. He's in, and a great save by Platt has been just outstanding in the game's first 5 minutes. 1-0 Philadelphia. Bad pass to Wasson as Philadelphia is still trying to kill the penalty. 45 seconds remaining on that call to Lipinski.
Yeah, we seem to be solving this penalty quite well. It's too bad Carm didn't see Luthwaite coming up behind him. It would have helped because he really got hit hard on that one.
All right, Luthwaite working with Collins in the corner. Big Al being held in there. The ball pops free, still in no one's possession. Shot clock working down to 10. Dug out by Wolfong, goes behind the net. Scoop shot in front of the score by Paul Warden. Warden from the Wolfong. That's a power play goal.
The shot by Warden there would seem to be quite deceiving.
Let's take time out for this.
This basic problem with banks. You go in to cash a check, you look around for a teller you know, and they're all new from a week ago. So they check your signature, your balance. It takes time, and it's sort of embarrassing. There has to be a better way.
Provident National Bank has a better way. If you have this card, any teller at any branch will cash your personal Provident check up to $100 without question. Help is on the way.
Gee, now I won't even have to look around for, what's his name?
Of Long Island, his 79th goal of the year. Wolfong gets the assist, a 1-1 game, the score coming at 5:30 of period number 1.
Well, before the game, Wolfong told us that he thought, or Al Gordonier, that the penalties were the things that hurt New York in their series against Philadelphia, and early here, it's the Philadelphia penalty. That's Art Seacamp, big angular at 6'3", breaking past Wasson. Oh, there's a man in front. That was McGee, but he couldn't take advantage of the break. Fed off to Medhurst, and the fine pad save by goaltender Wayne Platt. New York starting to bomb away now. The score tied at 1, but they're getting a lot of shots. Down goes Warden. The ball broken free by Wasson. Wasson hit, but keeps control. To Ron Ryan, rolling inside Seacamp. He tries the shot. The ball's off the stick. Back to Terry Lloyd. By Wasson on a bad pass. There's Art Seacamp. And there's little Jimmy Wasson forechecking, trying to knock the ball free, but Seacamp finally controls. And we have 13:40 remaining in the first period. The game tied at 1, and it's a must-win situation for Philadelphia. Out of the box now comes Murdoch along the near side. Bill Foote, that's Brian Keegan. There's Bill Foote, 21, being picked up by Wasson. Gets an inside screen from Keegan. Tries to roll through, and a quick bounce shot that Platt covers, and gets it off to Jim Rickbeal. Rickbeal, a quick pass up along the near side to Lynch. Goulding, 32, breaks for the net, well covered. So Lynch waits for the rest of the unit to come out. There's Ziggy Musio. Musial trying to go inside. He's out to the near circle. Pass to Goulding, a bad one. And Terry Rowland will cover the rebound off the far boards. 27. Terry deep away, about 60 feet. That's Larry McCormick, number 3 on him. Pass to Sandy Lynch and a shot wide of Tim Barry. And the deep rebound bounces out of the box past Gordonier, and it will be New York possession.
Now the Wings scored first early on, just 13 seconds into the period, from Terry Lloyd to take a 1-0 lead, but they got hurt with Lipinski off. Johnston getting the power play goal, and it's all even, some 7.5 minutes now into the first period.
All right, the Wings have out there Ferguson, number 8, 7 is Sandy Lynch, 11 is Ziggy Musial, 32 Goulding, and 10 is Carm Collins. That's Hayes feeding in front to Todman. The ball rolls free off to the far side. That's Seacamp. Scoop shot, and Platt the save, and it will be Philadelphia possession. New York getting a lot of shots, and Philadelphia being held away after their early score. Now we get an interference against Rick Boucher, number 6, on 14, Charlie Henderson, just to the left of your screen, and it will be New York ball.
Yes, I think we have to watch the fixing screens. They seem to be calling very, very tight as of late in the last few games, so it looks like Bill Dix is really up for calling a few close ones tonight.
Well, Sandy Lynch got his man right around the throat with that stick, and that's going to be against Todman, and Lynch will go to the box with the Wings' second penalty. It comes at 7:49. It will be for high sticking.
This could be the fall down of the Philadelphia Wings tonight if they're not very, very careful, and that is the penalties. I think Zenny got a what we'd call a bad penalty. It was in the backcourt, and it was just uncalled for, unnecessary, and they got a fine power play.
All right, Warden takes the draw with Lipinski. Carm Collins out there, the premier penalty killer in the league, but they've got to get the ball first. And a fine play by Warden as he was on his back to scoop it along the box, back to Gordonier, sets it up for Tim Barry, and out comes the offense. You can look for the point man to be Doug Hayes. Left corner will be 20. That's Hayes with the ball now. The right side will be McGee. Johnston in the left crease and Wolfong in the right crease. There's a shot and a score by McGee. Power play goal number 2 at 8:10. And New York leads it 2-1 for McGee, goal number 57.
So penalties continue to do it to the Philadelphia Wings. This has been the case so very often, as was certainly the case in their game against Boston a couple of nights back. McGee gets the power play goal, his 57th goal of the year. Hayes and Barry get the assist to the play. 8:10, the time of the goal, and so now it's a 2-1 game. The Tomahawks lead the Wings. Both Long Island scores coming in the power play.
I think we're going to have to tighten up that man short a little bit. It seems to be a little bit too wide, a little bit too spread out. They're moving the ball around, and we're going to have to tighten up on those corners.
All right, it will be Lipinski and Paul Warden. The ball kicked free, dug out by Charlie Medhurst. Up along the near side, he's got Murdoch. Goes behind him on the far side. Bumped off the ball was the just goal scorer, Jan McGee, and Philadelphia in possession. Wings got a goal in the first 13 seconds. It had been shut out the next 8 minutes. On the near side, that's Rick Boucher being worked on by Murdoch. Trying to go one-on-one. Rolls inside the shot area. Winds up. Lets it go. Scores!
Now the rookie does it again. Rick Boucher scoring for the Philadelphia Wings to even it at 2 for Boucher. Goal number 55 on the season. The goal coming at the 8-minute and 38-second mark of period number 1. We have a 2-2 game.
Number 6, Rick Boucher.
If you notice on that play, I think it's important that everybody else kept their man busy, and Rick was able to work right in down through the center, which is very often hard to do. But everybody else has got their man going. He just moves right down the center, gets a couple hard checks, steps back, and beautiful shot to the top corner over Barry's shoulder.
All right, now out there is the former Maryland bad man, Gordy Keats, to take the draw with Lipinski, and there's a key part of the game that's been controlled so far by the Tomahawks. That's the center box draw. That's Luthwaite feeding back to Brian Keegan. Number 17, and the Wings in a zone now. They've got a 3-2 zone or a 2-1-2 zone. Man in front breaking through that zone was Gordonier. Couldn't get the pass. Luthwaite goes through. Lipinski had him wrapped up. The ball is loose. And who has it? Keegan had it momentarily. Boucher fighting for it, but didn't have control, and Gordonier comes up with it. Only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. 4, 3, 2, and they're not going to get a shot off in time. A goal is scored, but the shot clock expired, and the goal judge heard it and didn't put the light on. 10:45 remaining in the first period, and the game tied at 2. Gene Hart along with Ralph Lawler, and Wings Larry Lloyd. There's little Jimmy Wasson on a great night on Wednesday with 9 points in the losing cause against the Boston Bolts, his best single game effort in the NLL. There's Grad right in front of Wasson. Reverse shot, and he bounces it short, and taking it out is Gordonier. Gordonier up on the right side as off comes number 14, Charlie Henderson, to the bench. Out there with Jay Johnston, tries to work in front. Slashing at him is Terry Lloyd. Lloyd still whacking at him. Finally dumps it off to Todman. Todman trying to cut inside. Grant can't. They play through the middle. Great check in there against Johnston. The ball broken free by Jimmy Wasson. The Wings have a 3-on-3. Now quickly up is Rickfield. They go back to Grant. Grant in, shot. And Barry goes low to make the save. And now all alone down the box is Hayes. And a bad pass. Oh, lucky for Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was a real big break, especially after we missed down on our end. And then Hayes come out of the box, was standing there all alone, and the ball was overthrown.
All right, quickly Platt up to Grant. Grant flubbles it, but it goes right back to Platt. That all cost Philadelphia about half of their shot time. They just have 12 seconds left on the clock. Roland out there now, along with Rickfield. There's John Grant. Grant off to Terry Lloyd, who cuts one loose and scores. Terry Lloyd with goal number 112. And that will come from John Grant, and the Wings lead it 3-2.
Well, Terry gave him the go-ahead goal twice now. He broke the scoreless tie at the outset, now puts the Wings ahead 3-2 as we pause for this.
This is the luxury Datsun 610, and this is Datsun's lowest priced wagon, the 710. We're packing them to prove a point. The 710 holds 46 cubic feet. The 610 over 57 cubic feet. If your family ever needs to carry more than this, call a moving company.
See your nearest Datsun dealer and see how many ways Datsun saves.
Terry Lloyd scored from Jim Rickbeal and John Grant at 10:32 of period number 1. The Wings lead again by a 3-2 count on Lloyd's second of the night, 112th of the year.
Warden this time the draw by Musial, and he wisely, instead of trying to control, fires it back to Wayne Platt, who makes the control and plays up on the left side to Bob Goulding. Screen there by Ferguson. Played back to Sandy Lynch. Off to Collins. He's in. Shot wide. Good setup by Philadelphia. McGee is screened off nicely by Goulding. Lynch with the ball, but we've only got 15 seconds left, and we've got Carm Collins and Charlie Medhurst in front of the net. Just off to the side. Musial trying to break free. Collins and Medhurst really whacking away. Goulding now with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Flips a pass off to Musial. A shot. Barry the save. And he tucks his way back into the crease and gets a nice outlet pass down the box. Too far from McGee, and it rolls nicely into the Philadelphia crease where Platt plays off to Bob Goulding.
Collins and Medhurst really going at it out there in the front of the crease, and we may have some action with those two yet.
All right, Roland couldn't control the ball, and he was really sandwiched in there as he was tremendously vulnerable. As he tried to pick up the ball, had the head down, and then when he came up the head, boom, he was really clobbered, and perhaps we'll get a look-see at that and see who did the damage.
Terry Rowland down, as you can see him there behind goaltender Barry, and he got hit right in the back of the head, it looked like, and he is now holding on to the head, and we're going to get a chance to take a look at this once again. There goes Rowland coming directly towards you, and Terry, take a look at it. Larry, take a look at it and explain what's going on.
He takes a tough shot right there, as he's he was sort of just cleaned right off his feet as he was hit once already. I think that this game could get a little tough. I'm going to predict something that Carm Collins is going to take care of Chuck Medhurst.
Those two were really going at it with a stick, and a lot of words being exchanged, and Carm gave him a menacing look as they went back up the floor like, I'll catch you later on, I think.
I think he's looking for him.
Well, you can see the spin around by Rowland as he was off balance, then seemed to get whacked the second time by Art C. Campus. We'll take time out now for these words.
God, I couldn't believe this, and I couldn't hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Stubbock Apartments in Woodbury, New Jersey. It's the ideal place to relax after a rough game, to work out the kinks in the pool, courts, country club, or just to lie back and enjoy the trees, streams, and clean country air.
Terry Rowland, number 27, without the helmet now. He really had his bell rung. He's very woozy as he sits down on the end of the bench, and the fact that he's on the bench rather than the locker room might indicate he may hope to get back.
Right, McCormick into Jay Johnson. Cutting through the middle is Gordonier, bumped by Boucher, and loses the ball in Philadelphia quickly back. With the ball is veteran Larry Ferguson. His bad pass blocked by Gordonier and recovered by 7, Jay Johnstone. Johnstone looking for McCormick down in the right wing corner. Up to Keegan in the middle. That pass broken up nicely by Derek Forbes. It rebounds away from Lipinski and back to Al Luthwaite. Luthwaite now feeding off to Johnson 7. His pass off to the near side. Carrying and controlling is Gordonier. A bad pass in the middle. As Long Island getting careless, Ferguson picks it off up to Lipinski. Lipinski pass Wharton, a shot partially blocked by McCormick. And he made a fine defensive play, and New York with the rebound. Up on the far side, Charlie Henderson going one-on-one against Ferguson. But the old man takes him out of the play nicely and guards that lane to the net. Ferguson tries again. And this time, Henderson beat him, but Platt made the save. With the ball now is Ted Greaves. Big, strong, 6'3", 210-pounder, usually gives the wings fits. Back to Doug Hayes. Pass lost by Wilfong. Controlled. They've got 16 seconds left. There's Hokulik with a scoop shot. Well wide. Rebound in front. Greaves! And he stepped on the crease while maneuvering for the shot. Never got it away, and Bill Dix caught it and made the play call.
I think the game is starting to tighten up a little bit now defensively. As you notice, both teams are getting back. Jimmy Watson scores on a fine one-on-one maneuver right off the crease. And it just goes to show you that no matter how big you are, he had a big man on him. He moved in there very nicely underneath his right arm and just picked the ball off and put it right in behind Barry.
That was a super pass, Al.
It's number 78 now for Jimmy Watson on the year. The Wings take a 4-2 lead at 12:51. Boucher gets one of the assists. I didn't catch the other one. Did you, Gene?
John Grant.
John Grant gets his second of the night. The Wings lead it 4-2. There you see Watson doing it again.
All right, there comes Murdoch. He's in and scores.
Well, Murdoch counters very quickly to make it a 4-3 game. The Wings leading. That goal coming at 12:58, just 7 seconds after the goal by Jimmy Watson. The Wings lead is sliced from 2 now to just 1 as Murdoch cashes it in for the Long Island Tomahawks in the season now for Murdoch. That's goal number 19.
Larry, is there an error on that play that you can get a clean break like that off the draw?
Most definitely. Our defensive man, I'm not sure quite who it was on that play, does not let that man get in behind him at any time. He was obviously carried away with the ball coming out at center and forgot about the man dipping in behind him.
All right, Bauer makes the play up to Watson, avoids the check, loses the ball. That was Seekamp in there, and it's tapped by McGee, number 5, back to Bill Foote, 21, up on the near side to Charlie Medhurst. That's Ron Ryan, they call affectionately Wolfman in Philadelphia. Watson is picking up number 21, Bill Foote. That's Medhurst. Pass over the far side, picked off the ear of John Grant, a give and go in front, or a pick and roll, and it was mishandled by Foote. And Philadelphia's played right up the middle. Ron Ryan to number 19, Rick Beal. Rick Beal on the right circle. Philadelphia 20 seconds on the shot clock. 6.5 minutes remaining first period, and they lead 4-3. A pass that's deflected, but Ron Ryan gets it. They've got 8 seconds, 13 seconds make that. There's John Grant trying to get an opening in the middle. Being worked on in there by Murdoch. Still being worked on. Now he's going to get a reverse shot. Watch it. He scores! Great play by John Grant.
Great move. He faced the backhander, faked it, and then went with a forehand left-handed shot. John Grant now limping off, apparently favoring that bad hip once again, but John Grant gets the goal, and for the big man, that's number 62. Ron Ryan gets one assist, and Rick Beal gets the other.
Ron Ryan, who's had his difficulties lately being kept off the board with very few points at all, gets his first of the night, and for Rick Beal, his third assist. For John Grant, a goal and 2 assists, and Philadelphia leads 5-3 with 6:05 remaining in the first period. Do or die, remember, it has to be a combination of a Philadelphia win and a Boston loss or tie at Maryland on Sunday. There's Terry Rowland back, and he's coming out with spit and vinegar, along with Lynch. And Rowland going to try to break his way in, and he scores! Terry Rowland!
Well, he let him know right quick that he's okay, didn't he?
He looked really good on that play. You never know, he was just taken off the floor a few seconds earlier. He really has a lot of determination for a fellow that is not in shape. You see, he just broke in, shot over the Long Island player, which formed a little bit of a screen.
John, I've noticed, particularly this year in watching Rowland, that he's got a great ability to be able to get a good shot on the corner while moving away from the net, and that seems to catch goaltenders off balance. What? He's moving and lets it go right there.
Not only can he shoot that way, but with a man right on him. He's very, very capable of just taking the shot from the check and moving the ball as well.
He's extremely strong, is he not, Larry? Very
For sure. Possibly one of the strongest fellows on the team.
Larry, on a play like that, could it be that some players wait too long for too fine a shot and perhaps would learn from Terry Rowland to let it go in that kind of position?
No question.
All right, 6-3 Philadelphia. There's Hayes. He's going to cut right in and score.
Oh, real shooting gallery all of a sudden now, Gene. Doug Hayes gets his first goal of the night, not his first of the year. That's 103 on the season for Doug Hayes, who appears to have the scoring champion pretty much locked up. That goal comes to the 14:26 mark, and it's a 6-4 game.
All right, there he goes, and maybe there was a screen here, John. Let's see, but it looked like it was just a bullet shot that got past Wayne.
Yeah, that shot was a really nice shot. Wayne come out, did everything what a goaltender should do. He just put it in the corner where it should go, and a nice goal.
Golding makes a good play to flip it back into the Philadelphia zone. Sandy Lynch controls. Almost a wraparound by 23 Dave Wilfong, but Sandy avoids it. Quick pass up to Golding, and Golding is really clobbered by Graves, and there's the outlet pass to Wilfong. Wilfong going to cut in all alone on Platt. Scores.
We are really scoring them in bunches. That one comes at 14:47. We have had 3 goals scored in 36 seconds. One by the Wings and 2 now in 21 seconds by the Long Island Tomahawks. Wilfong gets that one. His first one of the year, rather of the night, and it's a 6-5 game. The Wings lead is sliced to only 1.
Great play by Graves, who not only rattled Goulding's teeth, but then picked up the loose ball and made the good outlet pass to Wilfong, who scored. Zeni Lipinski is questioning Bill Dix at center box, and I don't know what the argument might be. Let's look at Wilfong going in again, a very tough shooter.
His 93rd of the year.
All right, the Wings have led by 2. They led as much as 3 at 6-3, and then the Tomahawks have gotten 2 quickies. Again, Philadelphia has been very solid in the second half of this period in getting the draws. Gets it back to Platt. Platt quickly up to Larry Ferguson, who's out there with Lipinski 9, number 6 Boucher, number 25 Grady, and number 5 Derek Forbes. That's Grady with the ball. Wipe that by Seacamp. We've got a stick out of the box, and I don't know who it belongs to. There's a stick out of the box, and who doesn't have one? But here's Medhurst working up on the near side. Breaking right on in. Wants to get the shot, and it's wide. That looked like Murdoch, who lost the stick, number 32. There's Gordon Ayers. New York threatening to tie this game, and Platt the big save. The rebound, Famble 4 and Fun. Dug out by Boucher and lost, and I think we're going to have Seacamp whistle for a crease violation and Philadelphia ball.
Seacamp very fast, Larry. You ever done any foot racing with him? He can fly.
Yes, for sure. Probably one of the quickest on the Long Island team, and possibly one of the quickest in the league.
All right. Rick Beal to Grant up to Ron Ryan. Ryan trying to penetrate through Medhurst, does, but we're going to have a penalty, and it's going to be against number 3 McCormick for high stick, and it will come at 15:47. New York's first penalty of the game and the Wings' first power play.
So the Wings get their first shot now with the manpower advantage. A penalty coming at 15:47. McCormick gets 2 for high sticking. That gives him 65 penalty minutes in the year as we take this time out.
Saw a terrific suit on sale. Well, I've got some savings, so I go down to the bank and they tell me I can't get my money out for 2.5 years. Now, you know that suit's not going to be on sale 2.5 years. There's got to be a better way.
Provident National Bank thinks savings certificates are a good idea, but not for all your savings. That's why we also offer 5% statement savings. It's a decent amount of interest for money you can get right away. Help is on the way.
What do you think of the suit?
Back at the Nassau County Coliseum, the Philadelphia Wings, 15, almost 16 minutes into the first period now, still leading 6-5, and now they have a man advantage. A power play for the Wings for the first time tonight.
But they have the defensive unit out, as usually do on the draw, and right off the draw, it hit Carm Collins in the face. Carm is staggered. The ball is still loose. Carl may have got that in the eye. Now we get a stoppage of play, and the injuries now coming fast and furious. Roland shaken up. Collins apparently hit in the eye with that face-off from Goulding that came right off his stick. Let's look at it, Larry.
Really quick. This happens once in a while. It's how it happened to me. I got caught in the throat one time, and I was out for 2 weeks, and I couldn't talk. Carm just had his head in the wrong place, but in Carm Collins style, he won't lay on the floor very long. He wants to get off. He wouldn't give anybody an advantage that he might be hurt.
Oh, it came so quick. That ball weighs about 6 ounces, I guess, and it's very, very hard. It's not a soft ball. If people are thinking of a soft rubber ball, it's hard. That is like getting hit in the face with a rock almost at point-blank range.
You could break a nose pretty quick.
Well, since there is blood out there, I would assume that it's from the nose and not the eye. But Carm is tough. He'll put a couple of splints up the old schnozola there and be out quickly. Larry, have you ever seen anybody tougher and more gutty killing a penalty, a 1 on 2 or 3 as Carm Collins is?
Not in my days of lacrosse, I haven't. Maybe there has been, but I haven't came across anyone.
All right, Wings with a power play, but they lose the draw to Medhurst. Long Island has to get the ball up in 10 seconds. There's a play off to Barry. They like to use the goaltender. He's bumped. Here comes Greaves up the middle, and he makes it a feed off to Henderson. And now watch. Greaves will go off, and this is what Morley Kells like to use, his little scatbacks. So he has out there a bad pass, and you see he had out there Foote, Keegan, Henderson, Johnstone, the fast
he
man.
brought Barry up also out of goal.
All right, power play. Let's see what we set up. We've got Rick Beal and Ferguson at the corners. The point man is Grant. The crease men, Terry Lloyd and Lipinski. There's John Grant. There's Rick Beal. A shot. Score! Rick Beal from Grant. And power play goal, and Philadelphia leads 7-5. And, gee, that's what we need, Larry. That kind of shooting.
I'll tell you, it's really nice to see our power play score for a change. They've had trouble over the last couple of games, and Jimmy Rickfield in a new spot tonight on the corner just winds up and puts a fine shot in the top right-hand corner.
Jim Rickfield from the right corner hits it in. 16:33 the time of the goal. 7-3 power play goal for the Wings. John Grant gets one assist, and Larry Ferguson gets the other.
Well, we've had 3 penalties to the Wings, Lipinski and Sandy Lynch, and to the Tomahawks, Larry McCormick, and they've all resulted in power play goals. Philadelphia leads 7-5 with 3:27 remaining in this period. And John Grant's having one of those nights, a goal and 3 assists. Jim Rickfield, a goal and 3 assists. So that line working well. All right, Philadelphia still keeps Grady out there along with a Boucher, Ferguson, Lipinski, and Forbes. There is Luthwaite breaking in. Forbes grabs him, knocks him off the ball. No penalty is called. Double teaming is Lipinski. The ball is free. We're going to have a penalty, and it's going to be against either Gordonier or Luthwaite for slashing in there. Philadelphia pulls the goaltender and will go with 6 forward. There's the fast break to Lipinski. All alone, a shot. Oh! Brady had the ball and fanned on a great pass from Lipinski, but now the penalty will be called.
I think Ballpark may not have been expecting the pass at that point, and did not get the stick on the ball. So we have the penalty going against the Long Island Tomahawks, and coming off quickly is Al Luthwaite to sit down for 2 for high sticking. Power play for the Wings, their second of the night.
I'll tell you, they're a very economical group here in New York. They still got the lineup from last year. They've got players like Graham Gare and Bill Tierney and Rick Dudley in the lineup. There you see some bouncing, and you saw Luthwaite in there come up high on Forbes. So Philadelphia again with a power play opportunity. You've got to get the ball, and there's Carm Collins out with the ball. Tries to flip it loose, but it rolls instead towards the New York goal, and failing to get it was Barry, but it did roll free up to Medhurst. Now let's see them get it up into the 4 box. They get the strong guys up first. Now you'll watch Greaves unload, and then there he's boomed from behind. He didn't get a chance to unload. He waited a bit too long, and Rick Boucher rang his bell, and the ball rolls off to Philadelphia's Terry Lloyd. Out comes Grant. We'll probably have again Terry Lloyd, the left crease, Lipinski, the right crease, Rickfield, the right corner, Ferguson, the left corner, and Grant, the point man. Against the box. There's a pass to Ferguson. Back to Grant. Grant off to Rickfield. This time he's well picked up in there by Hayes. Grant's got Ferguson open. He's in. He shoots. It hit the post. Rebounds back to John Grant. He winds up. Off to Rickfield. No shot. Back to Grant. Grant winding up again. Fakes. Lets it go. And this time it right into the midsection of the goaltender Barry. The ball is free. Philadelphia again in front. Rickfield off to Lloyd. Oh, he shot wide. And brother Larry right behind us has put his hands in his head. And here we've got Gordy Hayes going in all alone. Doug fakes a pass, and it's a bad one. But he'll probably get his own rebound, and does off the left corner. Feeds in. Here comes Henderson by himself. Platt with a marvelous save to prevent a shorthanded goal. And that's where New York really works well in bringing men lightning off that bench and down the box. Philadelphia with 35 seconds left on the penalty to get a goal. They lead 7-5 with 1:20 remaining in the first period. There's Rickfield off to John Grant. Off to Ferguson. Back to John. John trying to draw off to Fergie. He's got his shot and lets it go wide. Rickfield with a rebound. Shot clock still working. Rickfield trying to draw a man off. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Grant will read it and let it go. To Lloyd. Oh, he hit the side of the net. Lloyd hit the side of the net. And the ball's still in that New York crease. And I think we're going to get a New York crease violation, and it's going to be Philadelphia ball on the right side. 8 seconds left on the penalty, and they get the shot clock recycled. Now they bring Terry Rowland out. He'll take Ferguson's place on the left point. They've got to get that shot off quick. Ran in. A pass to Rickfield. He scores! Take that, Lipinski.
Zenny Lipinski got the pass from out front from the right crease and put it in as the Wings. That will we get it into the power play or not? Was after
I think it was at zeros. The penalty ended at 1907. It is 1907. Would not be a power play goal.
Lipinski from Grant and Rick Beal. 1907, the time of the goal, and the Wings lead it now by an 8-5 score.
There were a lot of promising things on that power play. Not only the fact that we did get a goal, there's a lot of good hustle, a lot of very, very fine passing around. And I think if that's an indication that our power play could come on and really could help it in this game right here.
All right, Rick Beal and Grant having a superb first quarter, each with 1 goal and 4 assists. And now the ball is taken out by Wasson. And Wasson had a slump there, but what a marvelous performance on Wednesday night on a losing cause against Boston. 4 goals, 5 assists. There he goes up to Ron Ryan. Ryan with a shot. Barry loses the rebound, but Terry Lloyd has to go behind the net to control as he's being slapped at. Oh, slapped at again by Seacamp. And the ball is loose, but Ron Ryan picks it up. Seacamp really working over brother Terry. There's Spooner with the ball. Shot hits the back of the net. And it will be New York ball. Now watch, let's see if they pull the goaltender. They've got 12 seconds left. Let's see if Tim Barry starts to go off. There goes Medhurst, and there goes the goaltender. Medhurst right up the middle. The ball is loose. Terry Lloyd's got an open net. Fire that ball into the open net, but it's not going to get there in time as the first period expires. A wing thing, 20 minutes for Philadelphia with the score. The Wings 8, and the New York Tomahawks 5, and we'll be back with Ralph's, or we're going to stay right here for Ralph's wrap-up.
Okay. Take a look at what happened the first period. The Wings took the lead very early. Terry Lloyd scoring his 111th goal of the season just 13 seconds into the period from Jim Rickbeal. And the Wings were on top 1-0. Although the lead, though, was short-lived because we had Johnston tying it up 1-1, 5:30 into the period. That was on the power play with Zenny Lipinski off. Will Fong came up with the assist. Long Island then took the lead for the first time at the 8:10 mark from McGee and another power play goal as the Wings' costly penalties were hurting them very badly in period number 1. Boucher tied it at 2 for the Wings. Terry Lloyd gave the Wings a 3-2 lead, and they never trailed again. That was the 10:32 mark of the period. Wasson, Grant, Terry, Rowland, Rickbeal, and Lipinski getting goals in the period for the Wings to lead now by an 8-5 margin. John Grant with 1 goal and 4 assists. Jim Rickbeal 1 goal and 4 assists. 4 penalties in the period, 2 on each club for 4 minutes, and 2 power play goals so far for Long Island and 1 for the Philadelphia Wings. The Wings lead it by a score of 8-5 now after the first period of play, and we'll be back right after this.
There's someone in town who wants to take over your office to help you plan it, decorate it, and furnish it from top to bottom. Working with your designers or theirs, the Frank Wolf Company will help you create an environment that's totally functional and unmistakably your own.
For creative office furniture and design ideas, call the Frank Wolf Company at Locust 72303.
After you pay for your room and board at Club Mediterrani, virtually everything else is free. At Club Med Guadalupe, you can not only leave your troubles home, you can leave your money home.
Now available at all 5 Rosenbluth travel agencies.
America's largest Chevrolet dealer, Potemkin Chevrolet. Hundreds of new and used cars and trucks available for immediate delivery at low discount center prices that save you hundreds. New Monte Carlos as low as $3,700. Why pay more? Visit Potemkin Chevrolet at 1101 South Broad Street in Philadelphia.
My friend, Herb, he's on the football team. Me, I'm on the math team. But we both wear the same sports shoe, Jocks by Tom McCann. Herb told me about the padded ankle, cushioned inner sole, and the special action-molded sole. And he told me that I could get this pair of Jocks for only $16.99. So who says football players are all muscles and no brains? Not me, Herb.
Jocks from $16.99. Who needs expensive shoes when you've got Tom McCann?
Back here at the Nassau County Coliseum after the first period of play, the Philadelphia Wings enjoying an 8-5 lead over the first place Long Island Tomahawks, a team the Wings have beaten 6 times in 9 previous meetings this year. And amazingly enough, they're out on top of them right now, though the Wings find themselves in a do-or-die battle. They must win this game if they are to keep alive their very slim hopes of still getting into the Nation's Trophy playoffs that will begin next Tuesday night right here once again in the Nassau County Coliseum. So the Philadelphia Wings need this one badly. Eddie Tepper, the vice chairman of the Philadelphia Wings, took a few moments prior to the game to talk to our Gene Hart about the season and about what could yet lie ahead for the Philadelphia Wings. Go down now to the center box. Gene Hart and Ed Tepper.
Back here at the Coliseum in Uniondale, our guest is the vice chairman of the Philadelphia Wings, Ed Tepper. On this, our end of regular season telecast, we thought we'd do some recouing of what has transpired in the second year of the National Lacrosse League and project into its third season next year coming up in 1976, and most apropos year in Philadelphia, the bicentennial. Ed, first of all, much has been made of the shortening of the schedule, and though it was an odd change, it was met with much favor, particularly writers saying it's about time that they realized schedules were too long, and it was cut back to the disadvantage perhaps of the Philadelphia Wings. But now for next year, for 1976, what is the projected number of games and over what part of the season will they stretch?
Well, it's still a tentative schedule, Gene, but right now, if I were to guess, and it is a guess, I'd say from mid-May to the end of August, and we'll probably stick with 24 home games and 24 away games.
So what you're basically saying is that you'd like your season to commence concurrent with the end of hockey and approximately the time that the ice sport begins its fall training camp.
Absolutely. That's what happened in '74, and it was very, very successful, and I think, and I hope anyway, that that's the format that we'll probably go back to in '76.
You know, Ed, one thing that hasn't been mentioned is the playing dates that the Wings have had at the Spectrum. Usually teams such as the Flyers have played home historically on Thursday and Sundays. The Canadians play Wednesdays and Sundays, Boston Thursdays and Saturdays. Was there any pattern to the way the Wings play their home games, and what do you foresee for next year? How would you like your schedule to run on what days?
They're trying to kill us here, Gene. No, absolutely, Gene. I think that it is imperative that we have stationary days. You know, what 2 days, I really don't know. We're going to do a large market survey that McDonald and Little, which is a new advertising firm that Mr. Dixon has just hired. And we will probably come up with what we feel are maybe the one good day or the 2 good days each week, but definitely consistent.
Would you feel that Friday and Saturday nights are negative nights because of our proximity to the shore and the use of those 2 days to hit the water?
Well, of course, this is what the survey will tell us. It's my personal feeling, of course, that prior to the summer that they're excellent nights, and after the summer that they're excellent nights. During the summer, you know, I have my doubts, but I would like to find out. I think it should be interesting.
Much has been said about last year's first season of the National Lacrosse League, when players were being transported back and forth the day and the nights of games by plane from Canada in order to keep their regular jobs. But now the salaries have increased, and just what has it meant to you, to the Wings, in finances, and to the players to have them here throughout the summer?
Well, this year, thanks to Mr. Dixon, we probably have one of the super organizations in sports. And I don't say that out of any conceit. I really feel that Fitz has really built a super organization. And of course, having our players here and making them part of the Philadelphia scene is so important. And the full-time salaries, they're full-time athletes, and it only proves one thing, Gene, that you and I have said from the start, and I believe it today more than I ever have, that lacrosse is certainly here to stay. And what we're trying to do now is we're just trying to build the finest franchise, not only in our sport, lacrosse, but in the major sport today.
The changing of the schedule disrupted the television lineup, costing us 2 or 3 games. But in the number of games that were telecast, what did you find in the matter of a viewing audience?
Well, I couldn't be happier, really. As you know, I got involved a little bit this year, and our ratings have doubled and tripled. And also, Gene, and I just found out about 20 minutes ago that we did a game here Monday night between Long Island and Montreal, and they used our Philadelphia crew, and they got a 3.9 rating, which is higher than the Nets and higher than the Islanders. So lacrosse is definitely a TV sport, and I'm quite excited about it.
Ed Tepper, Vice Chairman of the Philadelphia Wings, our guest, and our intermission activities will continue again after these words.
John Grant and Derek Forbes need to unwind. They head for home. Stony Brook Apartments in Woodbury, New Jersey. It's the ideal place to relax after a rough game, to work out the kinks in the pool, courts, country club, or just to lie back and enjoy the trees, streams, and clean country air. Stony Brook's the perfect change of pace, a peaceful haven after a hectic day. See why John and Derek head home after the game. See Stony Brook. For information, call 609-845-5255.
Identifying Datsun's flying object, the new 280Z. High-performance fuel injection, advanced power, increased torque. Its only limitation is the ability of the person driving it. The new fuel-injected 280Z. And 2+2. Catch 'em at your Datsun dealer.
See your nearby Datsun dealer. He's listed in the yellow pages. There's someone in town who wants to take over your office to help you plan it, decorate it, and furnish it from top to bottom. Working with your designers or theirs, the Frank Wolf Company will help you create an environment that's totally functional and unmistakably your own.
For creative office furniture and design ideas, call the Frank Wolf Company at Locust 72303.
After you pay for your room and board at Club Mediterranean, virtually everything else is free. At Club Med Guadalupe, you can not only leave your troubles home, you can leave your money home.
Now available at all...
Back here at the Nassau Coliseum, we're live between the first and second periods with the Wings leading in a must game 8-5. And our guest is a guy I'd much prefer, like Larry Lloyd, to be on the box right now, helping Philadelphia win this big one, is Jim Lynch. And Jim, it's good to have you on for the first time on television, but we're unhappy that you're not in uniform.
Yeah, I'm very unhappy I'm not in uniform too, Gene. I wish I was playing.
Usually people figure that the last thing you can get because of the protection of the gloves is a broken finger. Perhaps you could show the cast and tell us how it happened.
Well, we were playing in Quebec City the other night, and I slipped on a very slippery floor, and my glove fell off, and Jim Higgs gave me a kind of a wicked slash and busted it off.
All right, now let me ask you this. There are right-handed shooters and left-handed shooters. Would it be possible, if that wasn't the pivot hand, to be able to play and shoot well with a broken finger?
Yes, it would. I wouldn't have to. I could have got my hand, or my stick taped to my hand, and I would have been able to play. But this hand, I can't hold on to my stick at all.
All right, what's the prognosis? When will the cast come off, and when the playoffs come, will you be ready?
They say about 3 weeks, but I hope if we get into playoffs to be back in about a week.
Jim, again, as we talked to you on radio one time, you were the Rookie of the Year last season with the Montreal Quebecois and John Ferguson, and the surprise perhaps in the early part of the season was your trade to Philadelphia, and I believe at that time you said that your inability to get along with Jim Bishop, which doesn't put you in a very small minority.
No, not too many players can get along in Jim's style, and if you can't get along in his style, you go to a different team.
John Ferguson, an interesting type, a roughhouse guy when he was a player with the Montreal Canadiens, and of course the background in lacrosse. How did you find working with John, and what were his high points as a coach?
I really liked John to work with. He was a very understanding person. If you made a mistake, he came to you and he talked to you about it, and you just went out and played your own game. With Jim Bishop, if you make a mistake, he lets you sit on the bench and cool off a bit.
All right, we're going to be back in a minute with Jim Lynch, so don't go away.
Basic